Dusty roads, hard to go, praying on my knees. Spirit whispers, Holy Ghost, catching every breeze. Mountains move, faith grew, Lord, won't you please? Guiding light, darkest night, broken chains with ease. Jesus walking, talking, listening to my plea. Cross on my back, burdens crack, let your love flow free. Yeah, strength of 10 men rising against storms calm at sea. Faith tiny, tiny, power mighty, through his grace I see. Faith the size of a mustard seed, that's all I need. Heaven's call, breaking walls, let the spirit lead. God's embrace, run his race, planting kingdom seed. Triumph song all day long, in his love I bleed. Yeah. Prayers fly, never die. Touch the hem of his cloak. In my soul, got control. Never will I choke. Breathing grace, sacred space. Burn the devil's smoke. On his word, not disturbed. We the blessed folk. Chilling with my Savior. Holy hands raised high.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm Kantis Simmons, and welcome. Listen, let me know if you guys can hear me. Type 1 in the chat box. I'm going to be doing something very helpful. And today, I'm going to be talking all about the one form that causes the most panic, the most confusion, the most frustration for college-bound parents, right? This is the part I believe that hinders and stop a lot of people in the college process. And I'm going to be talking about FAFSA. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about FAFSA. FAFSA is the free application of federal student aid. And maybe you're a college-bound student, maybe you're a parent of a college-bound student, right? And you feel like you're leaving free money on the table. And actually you are. And so what I wanted to do, I wanted to jump on live to answer what I believe are the 10 biggest questions that parents and students ask around FAFSA. If you're here, if you're a parent, listen, if this is helpful for you, let me know where you're chiming in from. If you are a student, let me know where you're chiming in from, because what I want to do is be able to answer these questions for you. And not only do I want to answer these questions, I also, during this time, I'm answering the top 10 questions, but I want to also invite you to, on Saturday, I'm hosting a really cool workshop called Scholarship Success Saturday. All right. And I'll be taking some time with a group of families. And if you want to participate with that, go to scholarshipsuccesslive.com. All right. Scholarshipsuccesslive.com. And we're going to be talking all about how to locate, how to land and lock down college funds. Okay. So we're going to be doing that on this coming Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Hey, go over to scholarshipsuccesslive.com. We'll talk all about, the 7 places to look, the apps, the things that you want to do to locate scholarships and land college scholarships. So jump on over there. But I want to talk about FAFSA, right? I want to talk about FAFSA. And one of the reasons I want to talk about it is because in all of my trainings and sessions over the years, this has been one of the biggest issues that we've had with most students and parents. Okay. So if you're watching this via Instagram, I'm actually going in and out of my slides there. And I will, of course, answer the question there. But if you have questions that you want to add, hey, let me know and I'll answer those questions as well. All right, I'll answer those questions. All right, so let's jump right into this. First of all, what is FAFSA? Okay, FAFSA, like I said, is the free application of federal student aid. And the way FAFSA works is that it's a simple application that you give to the federal government to help them tell you how much federal aid is available to you. Okay. Let you know what's out there for you, what's out there for your son and your daughter. And this form, the funny thing about this form, and I'll answer it in these questions, right? I'll answer it in these 10 questions. But one of the thing about it is that a lot of times people see this form as a foreign language, right? You see this form as something that's absolutely, you don't understand it, right? So what I'm going to do, and I'll put the links here over at studentaid.gov. And like I said, if you guys can hear me, chime in with me. If you have any other questions, definitely let's answer those questions while you have me here. Okay. So, question number one. Question number one is this: should we bother filling out the FAFSA if we think our income is too high? Yeah, should we even consider filling out FAFSA if we think our income is too high? All right, so the quick answer is yes. All right, there is no income cutoff for federal student aid. Now, when you apply for FAFSA, there are many factors that go into FAFSA, right? Beyond your income, like your family size, the number of children that you have in college, and the total cost of attendance. All right. So even if you don't qualify for what I call need-based aid, right, through the FAFSA, I still encourage you to complete FAFSA. Here's why, right? So my three-step equation for funding the big college tuition bill is GM plus OM plus YM, right? GM plus OM plus YM. And what's GM? GM is the government's money. All right. That's what we're talking about here with FAFSA. OM is other people's money in the form of scholarships and in the form of student loans. Now, here's what I've seen is that when you don't apply for FAFSA and show that you have need for money, when it's time to apply for the scholarship committees, they look to see if a person needs money for school, right? And so as they look for the money, or they're looking to, um, as they're looking to find someone to give the scholarship to, they will go back to see if this person applied for FAFSA, if they've shown the need for the money. Now, if they get the scholarship application and this person hadn't completed FAFSA, in their mind, they would feel like, man, well, this student didn't apply for FAFSA, so they don't need this scholarship. So they give the scholarship to a person that has shown the need. So this is why, regardless if you feel like, you make too much money, complete FAFSA. Not only that, number two, people say, what, life be lifing? Here's what I mean by that. Sometimes your financial situation can change, right? It can be a loss of a job. It can be a loss of finances. Um, there may be some changes in the family. There can be death in the family. There can be divorce in the family, right? You never know what happens that could change the dynamics of your income. So when you ask this question, should we bother filling out FAFSA? Absolutely yes. All right. Absolutely yes. Not only is this important for scholarships, but this is also important for student loans. Okay. What do I mean by that? Right. So when you're applying for FAFSA, FAFSA will also give you the federal, the state subsidized and unsubsidized loans that are out there. So when you complete FAFSA, you will know, like, here is the limit to the amount of student loans you take out. Because a lot of times people take out student loans, don't know how much they really need to take out, and they'll take out too much or take out too less. And so what you want to do, you want to make sure that you complete FAFSA so you get access to that as well. All right. And for many schools, they require FAFSA. They require FAFSA to be on file so they can even award you for non-federal aid. Okay. So number one, should you bother filling out the FAFSA form? Absolutely yes. Okay. Absolutely yes. All right. Question number two. Question number two. When should we file the FAFSA? When should we file the FAFSA? All right. Quick answer. File it as soon as possible after the FAFSA door is open. Okay. FAFSA, completed as soon as possible. Traditionally, and I believe it is happened this year, it typically opens up October 1st for the following academic year. Okay. So let me just go to the website. And by the way, the website to complete FAFSA is studentaid.gov, and I'll pull it up here for you. Studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov. Yeah. All right, studentaid.gov. And when you go to the website, here's the amazing thing is that anything that's going on, sorry, Instagram, I know that's covering up my face and the screen here. But when you go over to studentaid.gov, you will see different things they have up here. Any notices that may be going on in the federal government, you can see it there where FAFSA is concerned. Okay. So go over to studentaid.gov. This is where you can complete the FAFSA. All right. So you want to do it as soon as possible. Right. You want to do it as soon as possible. So if you're going to school, so it's what, November now, right? If you're going to school in 2026 through the 2027 school year, you want to apply for FAFSA between October, when the doors open in October. All right. And when you go to the website, they'll let you know the application is available and that you can apply. All right. However, on the front end, it's like October 1st. On the back end, right, the federal deadline is late. So many states and individual colleges actually have moved it to a priority deadline. Okay. So in some cases, they move it to later in June. They move it to up until school time starts. But my recommendation to you is to complete it early. All right. Complete it early. Why? Just in case there's something on your application that doesn't look right, you can now take the time to go back in and say, hey, this doesn't look right. Let's look at this again, or go in to be able to change something for you. All right. So, number two, when should you file the FAFSA? As soon as possible. Okay. As soon as possible. All right. Question number three. Question number three that pops up all the time. Kantis, do we have to pay FAFSA back? Do we have to pay FAFSA back? All right. No. The FAFSA itself is just an application. Okay. It's just an application. It's not a loan. It's just an application. All right. So the aid you receive as far as FAFSA is it can be in the aid, it can be in the form of grants. Okay. It can be in the form of scholarships. And I'll talk more about that when we have our scholarship success live, like how to locate, how to land and lock down college scholarships. All right. Over at Scholarship Success Live, Scholarship Success Saturday. I do that Saturday. So federal aid can be grants, it can be scholarships, it can be work study, and it can be federal student loan. What's up, Lo? She says, okay, awesome. She says, okay, awesome. What's up, Lo? Good to see you, Lauren. My man Brandon said, Kantis, I have a question for you. Yes. Let me know what the question is, Brandon. Go ahead and drop it here. Let me move this over so my Instagram people can see their questions there, popping their questions up. Yes, Brandon, what's your question? Let me know there. Let me know. All right, just put it in the chat there. All right. So, question number three: No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to pay back FAFSA. Okay, you don't have to pay back FAFSA. All right. So, if you do get a grant that comes from FAFSA, use it. Right. If you do get a scholarship that comes from FAFSA, use it. It doesn't have to be repaid. If you do have work study, all right. Now, what's work study? Work study is money that you earn through working a part-time job. So you work a part-time job on the college campus or off the college campus or near the college campus. And all the hours that, not you, well, you or your student, right? When they work that job, that income will go towards paying the bill. Okay. So you want to make sure that you do that. All right. Question number four. This is a popular question. This is the popular question that always pops up. What tax year do we need to use when applying for FAFSA? Like what tax year? All right. So let's think about it. So when we look at our tax information, It's actually the prior year. All right. That means you use your tax data from 2 years before the academic year. Okay. All right. Let me explain why. All right. So let's say you're going to school in 2026, right? 2026, 2027, the fall of 2026 through the 2027 year. Okay. If you think about it, in 2026, you haven't completed, you haven't filed your taxes yet for 2025. Okay. So because you haven't filed your taxes yet for 2025, because that normally hits what, March of 2026, right? The previous taxes. So you haven't completed those taxes. So the ones that you want to use is the prior year. So if you're doing 2026 FAFSA, you want to use the prior year for your taxes. Got it? That's remember prior year. Now here's the beautiful thing about it now. The FAFSA and the taxes, they are linked, right? So when you go and you sign up for FAFSA, you and your household, the parent has an ID, student has an ID. Once you go through the application and just walk through it, you also have a place there where it's going to ask you for your social security number and all the things. And as your taxes are updated, guess what? All the numbers from that will transfer over. Now, they don't transfer over automatically. I believe now you have to give permission for them to be transferred over. I've seen situations where people will automatically transfer it over, and it'll cause some issues with, getting the right amount for FAFSA. But when we look at this question, when we answer this question, what year do we need to use for FAFSA? Just remember it's the prior year. Okay? It's the prior year. All right. Let me know if you guys are still with me. Let me know if you guys are still with me. I see you there on Instagram. I see you there on Facebook. I see you there on YouTube. Thank you. Yep. Cool. This is good. This is helpful. Give me a few hearts, a few likes there. Has this been helpful for you so far? All right. Now, listen, if you know somebody that needs this information, hey, be so kind to share this with them. All right. Share this link with them. If you want to watch the full video, go over to YouTube, Kantis Simmons on YouTube. I'm the only Kantis out here, right? Kantis Simmons on YouTube, and you'll see it there on my Kantis Simmons channel. Okay. So, question number five. Question number five. This is a good one. Question number five. What is the SAI? All right. What's the student aid index and how does it affect our financial aid? Okay. So years ago, they used to have the EFC, I believe it was, like estimated family contribution. Now the calculation has changed to the student aid index. All right. Now the student aid index is a number, right? It's a number that's calculated based on your financial aid information. Okay. Um, And not even, let me let you know here. Let me just draw this real quick on my board here. Let me try this on my board. Hopefully you guys there in Instagram can see this. And I'll draw a little boundary here. All right. So what you want to do and what you want to have, you want to make sure there are four things, right? We look at parents' assets. We look at parents' income. Okay. We also look at student assets and student income. Okay. Now, from these four parameters, all of this goes into determining your SAI. Okay. So your SAI is not the amount that your family will actually have to pay. Okay. It's actually an index number. Okay. It's actually an index number. Now, this index number, let me show you how it works, right? So every college, whether it's in California, Georgia, Hawaii, Florida, Tennessee, Nebraska, wherever, every college has a cost of attendance. Okay. Every college has a cost of attendance. So that is your COA. Okay. That's your cost of attendance. Then the SAI, the SAI index is subtracted from the cost of attendance, which now communicates your financial need. Okay. So this is why it's important when you complete FAFSA, it's going to give you the student aid index. All right. Now, the beautiful thing about FAFSA now, you can, when you apply for FAFSA, it's going to also give you, um, it's going to give you the opportunity to tell them the 20 different schools that you're interested in. Okay. So now you can plug in 20 different schools. And then now, when you plug in these 20 different schools, because they have different COAs, a different cost of attendance, they all will be different. All right. And so now, with the student aid index subtracted from the cost of attendance, it's going to tell you your financial need. Okay. So that financial need number creates the aid package. Okay. So it's like, hey, we see your need. Now, this is your aid package. Okay. And so the goal is to close the gap. Right? If the school is $50,000 and your aid is 25,000, we want to close the gap of the other 25,000 that you may need. Okay? A lower SAI, student aid index, generally leads to more financial aid. Got it? Cool. 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 All right. Question. Hopefully you understand that. All right. So when you complete the FAFSA, it's going to give you an SAI number, student aid index, SAI number, and that's subtracted from your cost of attendance. All right. Question number 6. This is a good one. All right. Question number 6. Who counts as a parent on the FAFSA if we have divorced or if we're separated? All right. Who is the parent? All right. Who's the daddy? Who's the mama when we're completing FAFSA? All right. So the FAFSA, it requires information from the parent who provided the most financial support during the student during the past 12 months. All right. I see your question there. And I'll answer your question in a minute. The FAFSA requires information from the parent who provided the most financial support during the past 12 months, okay? Or the most recent year, okay? It's not based on who claims the student on their tax return, okay? Now, if the parent, if one of the parents is remarried, let's say the custodial parent is remarried, the income and the assets of the step parent must also be included on the FAFSA. You say, what? Yes. All right. So if the custodial parent is remarried, let's say the father gets remarried and the father is the custodial parent. His new wife, the stepmother, must also be included on the FAFSA. Why? Because again, we look at parents' assets, parents' income. Then we look at students' assets and students' income. All right. Now, I'll drop this link somewhere if you guys want this link. There is a estimator. There's an estimator, and I dropped this link in the chat box here. There's an estimator. If you go to this link, one thing that you can do on that link is to, let me make sure that is shown everywhere. Maybe I'll pull it up here. Okay. If you go to this link up here, studentaid.gov/aid estimator. Okay. Go to aid estimator, and you can Google this, right? There's something called the Federal Student Aid Estimator. Now, what makes this so powerful with this Federal Student Aid Estimator is now you can actually walk through the process of being able to look at, this is like the practice test before you take the test. All right. Remember in school we used to have the practice test? Well, it's like a practice FAFSA. So now if you're in a situation, you want to look at, all right, how we need to go about applying for FAFSA where, you know, parents are concerned, then the estimator, it would give you step by step, right? Whose income, whose name need to go here, what taxes need to go here, what city needs to go here. So that way you can do the FAFSA aid estimator before you complete the FAFSA. All right. However, when we're looking at parents, when we're looking at who counts as a parent on the FAFSA, if we're divorced or separated, hey, go on the estimator, go through it. But traditionally, requires information for the parent who provides the most financial support, okay, to the student, especially in the last 12 months or the most recent year where you're going to need support. All right. If that person has remarried, then now the step parent's income and assets go along with that. But listen, use the estimator as a way to be able to chime in to look at that. What's up, Jamie Ripley? She says, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What's going on? What's going on? Somebody else asked me this question. I'm not sure who this is. You must know me, know me. Like, you know me, know me, know me. All right. It said, would you go back to Georgia Tech and get a PhD? I'll answer that question at the end. I'll answer that question at the end. I'm not sure who you are, EG225, all up in my business, but we'll talk about that. All right. Number seven. Seventh big question is always asked, does the FAFSA check our bank accounts? And what assets do we need to report? Okay. Does FAFSA check our bank account and what assets do we need to report? Like I said, we look at assets, income, assets, and income. All right. So the FAFSA will ask you, when you complete the FAFSA, it's going to ask you what your current balance of cash, right? What's your current balance on savings? What's your current balance in your checking accounts? All right. On the day that you fill out the application. All right. When you walk through that, and that's why I say do the estimator first so you won't be surprised when you hear and you see these different things. Okay. So you want to do the estimator first. All right. So now we got our income. When we look at our assets, right? Investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, certificates of deposit, all of those things go into it, right? So what's the net worth of your investments? If you have a college savings account, like a 529 or something, and that may be owned by the parent or student, hey, that comes into play. Another thing, if you have real estate, right? If you have real estate that's outside of the main place that you live, your rental properties, your vacation homes, all of that goes in when we look at income and assets. Okay. Now, a few areas that you don't have to report, you don't have to report the value of your primary home. Okay. Wherever the family lives, you don't want that doesn't come into consideration. The value of your retirement accounts, any 401ks, any pension funds, any IRAs, those do not have to be reported. All right. The value of personal possessions. Maybe you have some cars, maybe you have furniture, maybe you have jewelry, maybe you have some things that you got them stacked up. Guess what? You don't have to include those as assets. Okay. So listen, I also want to say this, right? I'm not a CPA, right? I'm not an accountant. However, I just give information for educational purposes to students and parents. If you have questions around any of these, listen, go sit down with your CPA, go sit down with your accountant to go through this, right? I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one. Go sit down with somebody to make sure that as you're doing this, you have those things laid out and in place. Okay. That's number seven. So that's all about, does the FAFSA check our bank accounts and what assets do we need to pay? Need to report. All right. Number 8, will my child's grades affect the federal financial aid? Okay. Will my child's grades affect the federal financial aid? And let me say this. This is you didn't pay for this, but let me say this. I don't believe every student, I don't believe college is great for every student. All right. Mama, daddy, yeah, I know you may want little Ray Ray, little Sheila, little Wendy to go to college, but look at what they've done the last 12 years. All right. If you clearly see that they hadn't been doing well in school, college may not be the best thing for them. Okay. So as a family, get together to look to talk about the other options because I don't want you to go through this whole process of trying to find money for college and try to find scholarships and little Ray Ray, little Wendy, little Sheila in college just goofing around. All right. It's an investment. Not only that, and I'll talk about this on our Scholarship Success Saturday over at scholarshipsuccesslive.com, scholarshipsuccesslive.com, how to look for the right college, right? How to look for the college that's going to prepare them for the future. Now, so many different things are changing where the world is concerned. What's the purpose of college, right? I believe that education is not the key to success. The key to success is how you apply the education, right? It's all about application, right? Being able to prepare. I remember years ago when I was growing up, my dad was like, "Hey, Kantis," he said, "look into the future," right? And at this time period, um, plastics and polymers and materials were the thing that was coming up. Science, right? Technology. Of course, STEM is still popping, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. But my dad was like, hey, let's look into the future. Look into the future and identify the things that will hold for the future. And in your present, prepare as if the future is here. So now what you want to do, you want to look to see where life is going, what the future looks like. And then now you want to use college as a means to get prepared for the future. So if that means getting a degree, if that means going into a certain field, if that means going into different areas, what's going to prepare you for the future? All right, think about it. Like what degrees, what fields can be replaced? We see how AI is growing and how AI will continue to grow. But you want to make sure that if you choose to go to college, go into a field, go into something that's going to prepare you for the future. Okay. But the question at hand, number 8, is will my child's grades affect their financial aid? All right. And the answer is no initially. Okay. The answer is no initially. Federal aid, like the Pell Grant, like direct loans, is not based on your students' grades, especially before entering college. Okay. However, once they are enrolled, your students must stay in what they call SAP, right? You must stay in satisfactory academic progress. And the college has parameters around what that satisfactory progress looks like. Okay. So that you got to maintain a minimum GPA. You got to complete a minimum number of credits. You have to continue to do the thing so you can continue to receive your financial aid. All right. So getting in to college, hey, your grades are not impacting your financial aid. However, you want to make sure you stay in satisfactory staying in satisfactory academic progress so you can maintain that federal aid. And even where scholarships are concerned, you want to make sure that, yeah, your grades play a part, not to get in that first year, but when um, when you get in, they play a big part. All right. Question number 9. Question number 9. Question number 9. Do we have to complete the FAFSA every year? Do we have to complete the FAFSA every year? Yes. Yes. You must complete a new FAFSA application every year that your child is enrolled in college and you want to receive financial aid. Okay. So if Lil Daryl is a high school senior going to college in 2026, you want to complete FAFSA. All right. If they're a high school senior going to college, you want to complete FAFSA. If Sheila is a freshman currently in college and she's going to need money for her sophomore year, complete FAFSA. All right. If Tyrone, if a sophomore student, okay, and wants to go into his junior year, make sure you complete FAFSA. All right. If Wendy is a junior and going into her senior year, complete FAFSA. All right. If you are a senior graduating and you don't plan to go into school in the 2026, don't complete FAFSA. But if you plan on going into grad school, complete FAFSA as well. All right. So every year in which you need the money, you want to complete FAFSA. All right. You want to complete FAFSA. And I said, what I said before, it's like, do it because you never know how life changes for you. Right. Maybe there's an income source. Maybe there's a person. Maybe there's a family member. Maybe there's a job or something that it diminishes. You want to make sure that you're still able to get access and to see what resources are out there for you. All right. So, do we need to complete FAFSA every single year? Absolutely, yes. Every single year in which your student needs the money. All right. Number 10. Number 10. What should we do after submitting the FAFSA? All right. What should we do after submitting the FAFSA? Number 1, after you complete FAFSA, remember you're going to give the cost of attendance. You have the cost of attendance. You have the minus the SAI, the Student Aid Index, which will show you your financial need. Right now, because you have applied to 20 different schools, that number of financial need, it can be different for multiple schools. So what do you do next? Number 1, you want to review the summary. You want to make sure that everything is accurate. All right. You want to make sure that all the necessary corrections that need to be made, that they are made. All right. Then you're going to wait for your aid letter. All right. So the colleges that are listed on the FAFSA, they're going to create an aid letter for you. And you're going to get that aid letter. And once that student so you got the 20 schools. Once the student has applied, the school, and if they don't send it to you, hey, reach out to them. Okay, reach out to them. They're going to give you an aid letter. And then what you want to do, you want to take all the different schools. You want to compare the different offers, right? You want to review the grants, review the federal scholarships, review if work study is possible. You're going to look at what loans are offered and lay everything down on the table to determine, all right, what's the net price, right? How much is left for the family to now have to pay out of pocket? All right. Have to pay out of pocket or go get other scholarships. If you have questions about that, listen, go contact the financial aid office of the schools that you're interested in. Okay. Make sure you do that. If you have any questions, just call the college financial aid office, especially of the schools that you're interested in, and look at what needs to be done. And then now you start talking about the different elements, the different things that we can do to come up with the difference. Okay. GM plus OM plus YM is how we're going to pay for college, right? GM, the government's money, plus other people's money, which comes in the form of scholarships and student loans. And then we have YM. YM, your money. Now, I'm all for using other people's money to pay for college, and specifically in the area of scholarships, right? If you've ever heard my story, I have 3 college degrees, paid them all. They were all paid on scholarships. Because I went through the process, I was even able to get more scholarship money than I actually needed, right? Got a BS degree in chemistry from Norfolk State University. Got another Master's of Science degree from Lehigh University in Polymer Science and Engineering. Got another Master's degree from Georgia Tech in Textile and Fiber Engineering, all on scholarships. Somebody asked me earlier, it's like, yo, would you go back and get your PhD? Would you ever go back to get your, go back to Georgia Tech and get a PhD? I've thought about it, but it just has to be right. Um, During the time period where I was a scientist, I think the biggest benefit of me having my PhD at the time would have benefited my starting salary, maybe my starting position as a research scientist. Do I regret it? Mm, Sometimes I think about regretting it. And here's the reason I regretted it, kind of, because guess what? I had all the money that I needed to finish my PhD. Yeah, I had all the money I needed to finish my PhD. All right. But, life was life, and I started working and doing some different things and started making income. But if the PhD is not going to benefit you long term, then you want to really think about the benefits that come from it. Right now, I've been considering it. I've had people say, "Hey, go ahead and get your PhD." I'm trying to see if I want to do it in science, do it in another area, do it. I'm not really sure. It's on the back burner, and I've been thinking about doing it. But guess what? If I do it, guess what? I don't have to pay for it, right? Because I know that there are resources and money out there to give me the money I need to get a PhD. Like if you want to go to grad school or get a master's degree, there are money and resources out there. Okay. Now, listen, if you are a parent and you're seriously looking for a plan to fund your college tuition bill, I want to invite you to my Scholarship Success Saturday. All right. Scholarship Success Saturday. This Saturday is going to be in the morning. It's going to be a very detailed workshop where we're going to take the time to really break down and talk about how to locate scholarships. All right. We're going to talk about a little bit more about the GM and applying and how you can maximize your federal aid. But if you go to scholarshipsuccesslive.com, scholarshipsuccesslive.com, I'll be talking all about scholarships, where to look, how to locate, how to apply, how to stand out, how to write essays, how to get people's attention, how to stay top of mind with the organizations that are out there. Actually, earlier today, I saw some organizations sent me some emails of some scholars, sent me an email with a list of scholarships that are available. I was talking to a dear gentleman last week, 2 weeks ago, and was sharing with me every single year they have issues giving away a scholarship because nobody applies. Nobody applies. Right. And so, what I want to encourage you to do, if you are looking for money, right, do not hesitate. Do not hesitate. There are too many people that are living their life today paying on a student loan that they got a degree in 20 plus years ago. And of course, I think the student loan debt is up to almost 20 million, not 20 million, but trillions of dollars, right? And because they're up to trillions of dollars, guess what? We uh, it can become a generational type of situation, and now we're stuck there. All right, we're stuck there in paying back student loans. So here's what I want you to do: if you know somebody that knows somebody that needs this information, hey, do me a favor, go ahead and share this with them, because at the end of the day, there's free money out there, and I want to be able to help you do this. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this. Let me know. Let me know in the chat area if you have any other questions. Let me go. Shout out to those on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those that are watching. If this has been a blessing to you, hey, let me know. Listen, share this with somebody, share this on your page, because when people don't have the information, right, they are stuck out here. And my goal in life is to give you the information, but also help you with the implementation, right? Information don't change your life, right? Information doesn't transform your life. It's when you actually implement it. And I want you to implement it. And the first thing I want you to do is to go ahead and complete FAFSA. And number two, to help you better implement, hey, jump on Scholarship Success Saturday. All right, go to scholarshipsuccesslive.com, scholarshipsuccesslive.com, and join me on this coming Saturday. We go more in depth where this is concerned. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this. Hopefully, this has been really, really good for you. And I'm just blessed where we can have technology and we can put things together help people from wherever they are. All right. So this has been good. Maybe I'll jump on here later sometime. But if you want to watch the replay of this, hey, go over to YouTube, Kantis Simmons. I believe this is on Twitch, maybe on Facebook, Instagram. It'll be on Instagram for a few, for a few hours or whatever. But let's take the time to make sure we do what needs to be done so we can complete FAFSA. All right. I'm Kantis Simmons. Remember this, there's only one game in life that counts, and that's your A game. Hey, I'll talk to you soon. If there's any way I can help you, hey, definitely let me know. If you want to jump on our Scholarship Success Live this coming Saturday, listen, go over to scholarshipsuccesslive.com. If not, hey, I'll see you on the other side. Well, not the other side. Well, I'll see you soon. I ain't trying to go to the other side right now. All right, let's win.
Dusty roads, hard to go, praying on my knees. Spirit whispers, Holy Ghost, catching every breeze. Mountains move, faith grew, Lord, won't you please? Guiding light, darkest night, broken chains with ease. Jesus walking, talking, listening to my plea. Cross on my back, burdens crack, let your love flow free. Yeah, strength of 10 men rising against storms calm at sea. Faith tiny, tiny, power mighty, through his grace I see. Faith the size of a mustard seed, that's all I need. Heaven's call, breaking walls, let the spirit lead. God's embrace, run his race, planting kingdom seed. Triumph song all day long, in his love I bleed. Yeah, 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 yeah. Prayers fly.